World at War, a game released in 2008 where zombies fly, insta-down you, restore your health somehow, absorb you into them, cause you to lose jug, thus making you one hit, and for the life of them, are unable to hit you when you lay down. Now imagine getting to round 100 on every map. Well, I got to round 1000 on one of the maps, which conveniently is the easiest map in zombies history. But before you think this challenge is easy, there are 3 other maps. One being the hardest map in zombies history, taking me 4 months to get to round 100. And no, I'm not talking about this map, but rather this map, Riese. So follow me and come join this journey through the terrifying yet oddly beautiful World at War zombies. Hey, so I have this idea. Let's do a tower defense game where zombies are attacking a building you're holed up in, and thus the birth of Call of Duty Zombies. Nacht was designed to be difficult, very difficult. We wanted 10 to be the tipping point, with 20 being the point at which if anyone makes a mistake, the game ends. So how hard is Nacht 15 years later? Well, it's not easy by any means. There are no perks, no traps, no pack-a-punch. 2 hit, game over. But 15 years is a good amount of time to master a video game, and some people like Krups have done this, reaching round 5262, beaten only recently by Baron Nikolai, who decided to upload in 360p. The developers had in mind round 20, but 15 years later the world record is 8276. This world record is even more impressive because his game ended not because he went down, but because the map resets 155 hours in. So how is this possible? 2 reasons. The first being there is a max of 24 zombies around, and at round 163, every round or so zombies go back to round 1 health. But firstly, you need to get to round 100. A tiny map, unpredictable zombies, no infinite damage weapons, with these constant screams in the gloomy distance. It wouldn't be Nacht if you don't buy the Kar 98k straight off the wall to snipe the slow and impending zombies in the early rounds. At the end of round 3, I opened the health door and grabbed the Thompson wall buy. I need this in order to survive, but also to get points so I can continually hit the box, which resulted in me getting the ray gun on round 9. The ray gun is necessary for the early rounds because this map is just hard, but shoot too close and it's game over, but don't shoot and risk nearly being trapped. From the mystery box, I got the flamethrower at round 23, and that's it. I am now set up. Pretty simple stuff in comparison to the newer games. But things are just starting to get a bit harder. I can't overstate how much the difficulty increases without perks. No speed caller or double tap, even with the ray gun, makes you constantly on edge, but it is doable to camp in this room for the first 30 rounds. When you run and walk with the flamethrower, you move a lot slower, which oddly makes it easier to train the zombies. At the end of round 42, I got a nuke, which is absolutely awesome because I can wait just a little bit into the new round, hit the nuke, and the round will finish because again, only 24 zombies around. You just have to make sure they are all spawned in on the map. Again, it's really important to remember that 2 hit, game over. So when this zombie sneaked up on me and started to pull me into him, I got hit once. Luckily, I managed to lay down in time, which both made the zombie miss me and also let go of me. The area of the help room is pretty tight, so even with the flamethrower, I got trapped quite a bit. When this would happen, I would either lay down or exit into the first room, which is very sketchy. Luckily, at the end of round 98, I got an insta-kill which allowed me to wipe out most of round 99, and so that's how I got round 100 on Nacht Der Untoten. Ironically, we started with the Kar 98k and end with the Kar 98k scoped. I decided to go back one last time to the most iconic camping position from which when I was a child I camped religiously at. I remember playing on my iPod and camping in this spot with the ray gun. But sadly, all things must come to an end. Insane or crazy, it doesn't matter when dealing with Verrückt. It's all the same. A map regarded as the scariest and the hardest map in zombies history. A map that literally takes place in an abandoned asylum facility, where many horrors were committed. So how hard is Verrückt really? Well, now we have perks and also traps, but then again, there are now sprinter zombies, which is not a good pairing on such a tight map. So what has been achieved in 14 years? Well, just a casual round 3365 from Krups, who I mentioned on Nacht. Again, the only reason this is possible is because 24 zombies around and insta-kill rounds in the high rounds. Who knows what horrors have occurred in this abandoned asylum, but we are stuck in it and need to defeat 100 hordes of the undead. There are 2 spawn points of Verrückt, one being next to Quick Revive, the other Jug. It is vital that I spawn on the Jug side. Instead of picking up the Kar 98k, I pick up the Gewehr 43. It is honestly far superior and only costs 100 points more. At the end of round 4, I proceed to get the MP40. I can then camp in the spawn room till the end of round 8, and now I can continue onto the power, hitting the switch, grabbing double tap and Jug. Just like on Nacht, I'm now in the process of getting the ray gun, which I got at round 12, but differently from Nacht, I decided to use point weapons instead of the ray gun in the early rounds, as the flamethrower seems to be rarer out of the mystery box in Verrückt, leading me to what should have been game over, but wasn't. I thought this was a glitch at first, but it's not. It's simply how Jug works in this map. I guess you have to remember this was the first time we ever saw Juggernaut. At round 29, I still hadn't got the flamethrower from the box, and so at this stage I had to use the trap, as sprinter zombies make it pretty much impossible after a certain round to just play normally. You basically have to use traps. But the craziest thing about this game is I still hadn't gotten the flamethrower at round 38. I was getting very lucky to survive at this point. I was getting insta-kills and nukes, so thankfully I was rewarded with the flamethrower at round 39. So now I'm finally set up. Now you may be wondering, what about the other side of the map, as I've only been on this side? Firstly, this door does not open until the power is on, but once it is on, I don't open this door or this one. This is because the zombies will pretty much spawn anywhere on the map, making it impossible to predict where the zombies will be, thus making it pretty much impossible to go for high rounds. The strategy I used this game was pretty simple. Wait in this area at the start, but not too long, otherwise you will be caught out by the sprinter zombies. If I don't fail at this stage, I activate the trap, leaving me with only one single window from which zombies can get to me. So of course I barricade it whilst using the flamethrower, making sure not to get insta-downed because you can. When the trap is close to finishing, I slowly bring the zombies back, finishing them off with the flamethrower. This is only possible because, again, there are only 24 zombies in a round, and so all the other zombies died to the trap. Though World at War is unpredictable at times, so you might have to clutch like this. The zombies really grab onto you in this game, and so I had to lay down quite a lot in order to beat this map. Flying zombies on Verrückt was very common, though not a threat, so that's how I got round 100 on Verrückt. I failed a lot because the map is so tight and fast, but a bonus of that is it only took me 2 hours. So I was able to fail, and still get it done in a couple of days. 2 maps in so far, and both I've really enjoyed because they're difficult and challenging, but quick, so it's never boring, but rather fun. Have you ever got to round 1000 on a zombie map? Well, it's pretty easy, but only if you play Shi No Numa, as it is quite literally the easiest map to ever be released. Nacht didn't even have perks or traps. Verrückt was tight and had super sprinters, while Shi No Numa is spacious with no super sprinters with perks and traps. We were even given the Wonder Wolf. The highest round ever recorded in zombies was done on this map by, yet again, and you guessed it, Krups, reaching round 11,482. I got to round 100, but when looking back, it was too easy, so I decided to get to round 1000. And you know what? It was actually pretty fun. Yes, this map is easy, but it's still World at War and quickly your game can end. Again, at the start of the map, I pick up the Gewehr 43. This map entails a lot of sniping at the start, and a thermal scope would go a long way, just like on Chronicles. There are 4 huts on the map, each one has a random perk inside. For the high round strategy, I need to leave this hut closed, which means I need Jug and Speedcaller to be in these 3 huts. If you didn't know, in World at War, Quick Revive does nothing in solo, and Double Tap only increases your fire rate, so both were pointless for round 1000. At the end of round 4, I depart and open the storage hut and get Speedcaller. At the doctor's quarters, I get Quick Revive, which means at the comms hut, I need to get Jug, which fortunately I do. The Wonder Wolf is pretty common on this map, so I ended up getting it at round 8. The PPSH can be very rare, but I was lucky and got it at round 11. And now I'm fully set up, and yes, the PPSH will be useful for the high rounds. But for the other rounds, I would just run in a circle in this area and use the Wonder Weapon, which is way better than its counterparts, and you will see more of that in Riese. It is actually kind of insane. I did this strategy all the way to 100. As you can see, it is ridiculously fast. I did speed this up a little bit, but 3 shots to end the round is pretty ridiculous. And so that's how I got to round 100. But what about 1000? Well, I opened the Flogger gate at round 100, and now I can use the Flogger trap. I honestly think even my dad could do this strategy to get to 1000. I simply wait close to the bridge, and once I could see zombies spawning in, I would slowly make my way towards the Flogger, activate it, look at this window here, shoot once, and that's pretty much it. All I had to do now was wait for the last of of the zombies to run into the flogger. So now that the flogger is recharging, I just do the same thing but use my Wander Waff this time. At round 212, I got my first close call. A zombie came out of nowhere. If I missed my Wander Waff shot here, this would have been game over. From around 200 plus, the zombies would sometimes go back to round 1 health. So this is where the PPSH comes into play, as it has a good hipfire, good ammo, good fire rate, and it's pretty strong. These rounds are obviously very easy, but I must admit, it's quite satisfying. It feels like you're cutting butter with a knife. At the start of the halfway mark, I saw a nuke, and so I waited a couple seconds into the new round, and then picked it up, which near instantly skipped the round. I also picked up the insta-kill before it ended, and got another free round out of it. Though, to be fair, every round is pretty much a free round on Shi No Numa. Now here is where the true horror of World at War comes from. The blank shot Wander Waff. As you can see, it shot a blank, nearly ending my entire game that I was 5 hours into. Shi No Numa also introduced dogs, which are honestly harder than the normal zombies on this map. They actually slow down health regeneration, so they are kind of scary. But fortunately, I played the Riese for about 3 months before I played this game. So by this time, I was actually decent at World at War zombies and could control the dogs. At round 999, I got a insta-kill round, so I just mowed down the zombies. At this stage, I was basking in the weird enjoyment I found in this map, and really, this game. I absolutely love the simplicity of the game. I love going for high rounds, and the purpose of this game feels to, you know, go for high rounds and beat your friends. I also just want to quickly mention Shi No Numa is a really beautiful map. Something about the lanterns and the ambience creates a really cool atmosphere. Honestly, the ambience on these maps are some of the best in zombies history. I have played every zombies map to ever be released, and honestly, I think the Riese is the hardest map to ever be created. Normally, it takes me a few days to learn a map and get round 100, but not with the Riese. It took me 4 months. But why is it so hard? Well, this was the start of 1,000 zombies in a round. What I mean is, there wasn't a max of only 24 zombies around like on the other maps. Instead, each round you went up, more zombies spawned in. So this topped with the fact that if you hit yourself with the Wander Waff, you lose Jug, making your run impossible. Even the world record is only round 170, of course again achieved by Krups. The guy is a beast and helped me a lot, giving me tips on how to beat the hardest map in zombies history. I cannot stress how difficult this map is. It must have taken me around 100 attempts, but at this stage I'd gotten to round 92 before, and so I knew the exact science and how I was going to get to round 100. I buy the Gavir, take out 3 rounds of zombies, then travel to buy the Thompson. The spawns are really fast in this room, so I camp here till I have over 15,000 points. And now instead of opening this barricade, I run all the way around the map, getting the power on and lowering the bridge. I buy the Bowie knife. This is the first appearance of the Bowie knife in zombies. I link the teleporter, grab speed caller on the way, and then connect the teleporter. I grab Jug, double tap, and link my second portal. This may seem a little weird, but at round 13, I purposely throw a grenade on the ground and damage myself. This is really important for the high rounds, as it allows me to run through the trap rather than being slowed. Already the setup feels longer than the other maps, and we aren't quite finished yet. I got the monkey bombs, which are pretty much guaranteed in the first few hits. This was the introduction to monkey bombs into zombies, and so I think the devs just wanted us to be able to use them more frequently. I kept hitting the box until I got the ray gun. At round 24, I finally got the Wander Waff and packer punched it. And yes, of course, this was the first time we saw the packer punch. So we got the Bowie knife, monkeys, and the packer punch on this single map for the first time. And guess what? This map's still bloody hard. But now we are all set up and can have some fun. I camp again in the Thompson room and use the trap whenever it's green. This spot is insane because the zombie spawns are fast and they can only come from 3 spots. The trap itself, from which they will die, and this window, and this window. When the trap does end though, I have to run in tight circles around these barrels, shooting my Wander Waff. This is quite hard. The Wander Waff is insane, but it took me a long time to get good at not hitting myself with it. When I ran out of ammo with the Wander Waff, I tried using the ray gun to get a max ammo, but in this situation, I got trapped and thought for sure this was game over. I knew I had maybe a 5% chance that if I went prone, I could escape, and well, I just got very lucky. At this stage, I knew I needed to slow down and play safe, and so I started using the traps. However, because I'm an idiot, when I got a max ammo, I started using the fast strategy again, and it very nearly ended my game. Again, I thought my game was over here, but I thought to double over, and I just got lucky there were no zombies there. This map is so hard. Even on the game I got round 100, I should have failed twice already, and I'm only just halfway. Time-wise, I'm not even close to halfway. Even still, I continued the strategy on round 55. The trap strategy is so much slower that I was willing to risk failing for some extra speed. But finally, at round 56, I decided to drop the ray gun and pick up the Thompson. I'm going to speed this up so you can see the exact route I take to use the traps in this map. You have to be very aware of where the zombies will spawn based off where you are currently, and also the timings, such as where the zombies will be from the time that you move. So it is slightly complicated, but once you get used to it, it is definitely a doable strategy. But there are some scary parts, such as this. At a stage in the strategy, you have to run back through the trap. There is a precise timing to this, but sometimes World at War zombies are just so unpredictable that eventually once you run through the trap, you're gonna have to turn back around and run through it again and just hope there are no zombies. At this stage, you definitely have to use a monkey bomb, otherwise you're gonna get trapped in this room. I did purposely keep the Wonder Wolf for this exact reason, but it is scary because if I hit myself, it's game over. And even when I do clutch up, sometimes another zombie will appear, and then at this point, it's all about luck. Instead of throwing a monkey, I was an idiot again and just decided to run. And guess what? I got lucky again. So lucky is a good word to describe myself on the day I beat this. And to be honest, this was probably the luckiest moment considering the round. A dog spawned in front of me, and so I had to backtrack, and then I missed my shot, got trapped, and if you've ever played World at War Zombies, you know these zombies will pull you in until you are absorbed by them, basically, like in this example. But for some reason, in this situation, I was able to just run out of it. I finished the last couple of zombies on round 98 with the Wonder Wolf, got an insta-kill, and a dog round for 99. It feels like the game just wanted to reward me for how many hours I spent attempting this challenge. And so that's how I got to round 100 on Riese, and for that matter, round 100 on every World at War Zombies map.